And Young Buzz. Welcome back to the channel where we dive deep into the stories behind the music, the artists, and the moments that make K-pop unforgettable. Today's news is all about one of the most iconic girl groups in the industry, Twice. And let me tell you, this one is a big deal because it's proof that even after all these years, Twice's power is still unshakable. So here's what happened. 3 months after its release, Twice's latest album, This Is 4, is climbing back up the Billboard 200 chart. Yes, you heard that right. It's not just holding on, it's rising again. On October 14th local time, Billboard revealed that This Is 4 jumped 40 spots to land at number 140 in its 13th consecutive week on the chart. 13 weeks. That's over 3 months of staying strong on one of the most competitive music charts in the world. And here's where it gets even more impressive. This is Twice's first album to ever spend 13 weeks on the Billboard 200. Not only that, but it's also the first K-pop group album in 2025 to achieve that milestone. That's not just longevity, that's legacy. Think about it. In an era where new groups debut almost every month and trends change overnight, maintaining chart relevance like this means Twice's music is connecting far beyond just their fan base. It's reaching casual listeners, international audiences, and people who might not even call themselves onces, but can't resist a Twice track when it comes on. Now, let's talk numbers. This Is 4 also climbed to number 24 on Billboard's top current album sales chart and number 32 on the top album sales chart this week. That's a significant rebound, and it tells us that fans aren't just streaming. They're still buying the album physically and digitally months after release. And you know what's fascinating? This comeback didn't rely on viral TikTok moments or a sudden resurgence in memes like we've seen with other artists. This is pure word of mouth, strong fan engagement, and music with replay value. Twice has been in the game for almost a decade now, and what's happening here is the result of years of consistency, loyalty, and emotional connection with fans. It's like every time someone predicts that Twice might slow down, they come back with another achievement that says, "Not today." And honestly, I love that for them. But here's something I've been thinking about. Could this resurgence be linked to how the group has been maturing musically? This Is 4 feels like a love letter to both old and new fans. The sound is nostalgic enough for longtime onces to feel that emotional pull, but fresh and modern enough to attract new listeners. It's got that signature Twice energy, catchy, polished, and emotionally grounded. Also, Twice has always had this rare ability to evolve without losing their core identity. Not many groups can say that. A lot of acts struggle when they shift concepts or sounds, but Twice makes it feel natural. You can tell that even as they grow as artists and women, they're still the same 9 girls who started out with like, ugh. That balance between growth and familiarity is powerful, and I think that's what's driving this renewed interest in their music. Another thing to consider is how global audiences perceive Twice now. For years, they've been known as one of the leading forces in the Hallyu wave, but in recent years, it feels like they've solidified their place as legends. Not just trendsetters, but icons who've built a body of work that holds up over time. I mean, look around the current K-pop scene. You have so many amazing 4th and 5th generation girl groups making waves, but Twice is still there, holding their ground on international charts, competing not by chasing trends, but by staying true to themselves. That's not just impressive, it's rare. And if you think about it, This Is 4 might be their most meaningful title yet. Because who is it for, really? It's for the fans, of course, but maybe it's also for Twice themselves. A statement that says, this is for everything we've worked for, everything we've overcome, and everyone who's believed in us. That kind of message resonates. I want to ask you, why do you think This Is 4 is having this late surge on Billboard? Do you think it's because new listeners are discovering Twice again? Or do you think onces are pushing extra hard to keep supporting them? Maybe both? Personally, I think it's the music itself. Good music always finds its way back up. No matter when it was released, if it connects with people, it'll rise again, just like this. It's honestly refreshing to see a group succeed this way, not through controversy or viral gimmicks, but through talent, consistency, and emotional honesty. And it makes me wonder, are we entering an era where long-term artistry will start being valued more than short-term virality? Whatever the case, Twice is proving that you don't have to chase trends to stay relevant. You just have to keep being authentic, and your fans will always come back for you. All right, now speaking of artists who are making headlines, not just for their music, there's another story that's been stirring conversations across the K-pop world, and that group is Stray Kids. Because when they said they've got good karma, they really meant it. Their latest album isn't just doing well, it's dominating. Even after nearly 2 months since its release, Stray Kids' fourth studio album, Karma, is still holding strong in the top 50 of the Billboard 200. And that's not something you see often in K-pop. Billboard just revealed that Karma ranked at number 47 this week, marking its 7th consecutive week on the chart. Think about that for a second. 7 straight weeks in one of the most competitive album charts in the world. That's not luck. That's staying power. What makes this even more impressive is that Karma debuted at number 1 on the Billboard 200. It's one thing to hit number 1. It's another to stay consistently in the top 50 for almost 2 months afterward. That kind of chart performance tells you that people aren't just streaming once out of curiosity. They're coming back, replaying it, and genuinely connecting with the music. And it doesn't stop there. Karma also just spent its 7th week at number 1 on Billboard's World Albums chart. 7 weeks in a row. Plus, it climbed back up to number 2 on both the top album sales chart and the top current album sales chart, meaning it was literally the second best-selling album in the United States that week. That's massive. Stray Kids have always had this incredible mix of confidence and creativity. Their music isn't just catchy, it's bold. It challenges structure, rhythm, and even lyrical style. And with Karma, it feels like they've reached a point where their artistry and popularity have completely merged. They've built a sound that's so distinctly theirs, and fans can recognize it from the first beat. I think part of what makes Karma so special is how it reflects Stray Kids' growth. They're not afraid to talk about success, hard work, and the energy that comes back to you when you put something real into the world. The title Karma fits perfectly. It's like they're saying, we've worked hard for years, we've stayed true to ourselves, and now we're reaping the rewards. But here's where things get even more exciting. Stray Kids members Han, Felix, and IN just released a new song called Genie, which is part of the soundtrack for the drama Genie, Make-A-Wish. And guess what? It debuted at number 4 on Billboard's World Digital Song Sales chart. That's huge for a soundtrack song. It shows just how strong their individual impact is outside of group activities. And that's not all. Stray Kids' latest title track, Ceremony, also climbed back up to number 5 on the same chart in its 7th week. It's like every part of their discography right now is thriving, from full albums to solo projects to OSTs. Honestly, this kind of consistency is what separates Stray Kids from the rest. They're not just popular, they're resilient. They don't fade after one big moment. They keep delivering, reinventing, and proving that their success is built on talent, teamwork, and authenticity. But I think what's even more meaningful here is the relationship they've built with their fans. Stays aren't just passive listeners. They're emotionally invested. They celebrate every milestone, every chart rise, every project. And that connection creates the kind of energy that keeps a group at the top long after the initial hype fades. When you look at both of today's stories, Twice's album climbing back up the charts after 3 months and Stray Kids holding strong for 7 consecutive weeks, it really paints a bigger picture of what's happening in K-pop right now. We're seeing longevity. We're seeing artists who aren't just dominating for one comeback. They're building careers with substance and staying power. It also shows that global listeners are paying more attention to artistry and storytelling in music. It's not just about catchy hooks anymore. It's about how a song makes you feel and what it stands for. Both Twice and Stray Kids have mastered that balance. They give us high-energy performances and production perfection, but also emotional depth. And it makes me wonder, are we entering a new golden era of K-pop domination on the Billboard charts? Because if you think about it, these groups aren't just maintaining success, They're expanding it, week by week, chart by chart. I want to know what you think, though. Between Twice, This Is For making a comeback on Billboard, and Stray Kids' Karma holding its ground for 7 weeks, which achievement surprised you the most? And why do you think both groups are managing to stay so relevant and powerful in 2025? Personally, I think it all comes down to one word: authenticity. Both Twice and Stray Kids know who they are. They're not trying to fit into what's trending, they're shaping the trends themselves. And that's what keeps their music timeless. Alright, that's all for today's Anyang Buzz. It's so inspiring to see K-pop continuing to evolve while staying true to its roots. If you enjoyed this deep dive and want to keep up with stories that go beyond the surface of K-pop news, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Tell me in the comments which group's journey motivates you the most right now, and let's keep this conversation going. See you in the next one, Buzz Fam.